Welcome to another sharing. So glad I have the opportunity to share what I have tonight with you, and we're just going to give people a few minutes to join us, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hopefully, you've had a great Thanksgiving season and time. We're still always in the well, not still, but always in the place of Thanksgiving. Thankful for all that God has done and is doing in our lives. So, as people are coming in the room, as always, you can share this to your page. It is yours to share and have some information that I think will bless you tonight. So, we'll just give people a few minutes to join us and then we'll go ahead and get started. And I'm going to share this to my page as well. So, welcome. You're just joining us tonight. Welcome into our sharing tonight. We're going to talk about the motivational gifts. The motivational gifts. I think that it'll help you. It'll be a blessing to you tonight. Here's the thing, and I left it up here, and we'll talk about this tonight. How are you wired? Like everyone that's on this planet is wired a certain way, and you'll understand what I mean by that in a few minutes. But those of you who are with us, go ahead and grab Romans the 12th chapter. We'll reference a few verses, different chapters tonight, but we'll start at Romans 12, verse 6 to 8, and then we'll navigate to a few more passages. And I might not get to all the information tonight, but we'll get to as much as we can in hopes that it'll be a blessing to you. And here's the goal. The goal tonight is to help you identify the gift that God put in you. That God has placed gifts in you. He's made deposits in you. So the goal tonight is to help you identify that. And sharing that to my page here. So hopefully you will learn and glean from this information. It'll be a blessing to you. You'll discover the gifts that God has placed in you. Because here's what I want to say to you, and please hear me. I've heard people say this over and over again. They say, "Well, I don't really have any gifts. I don't really have what John has, Mary has." Made up names, y'all. Or they look at other people and they praise the gift in them, and they maybe have not identified their gift or what gift they have. They minimize it, and it's really, I don't want to say sad because I don't want to put that on you, but what I want to say is that every gift that God has put in people on this planet when he birthed them, and he's done it for everyone that's been born on the planet has gifts. I say motivational gifts because that's what they're known as, but I call them also the hardwired gifts. In other words, you were born with gifts in you, and these earthen vessels, God made deposits for the purpose of the kingdom. We're going to learn about that tonight. Really, the purpose of the gifts is really to glorify God, to fulfill the purpose and plan he has for you. But in order to function in it, we have to know what they are. We have to learn. And here's the thing, most of the time you're already operating in it and you don't always know what it is. So you have motivational gifts that you were born with, hardwired, they're in you, and there's a reason why you do what you do. Sometimes there's a reason why you function the way you function, and as much as you try and change, it's difficult because you've been hardwired a certain way. I want to help you because it helped me when I learned this. You're hardwired a certain way. God has designed your life for purpose. There's a plan he has set for you. So he put in gifts. He wired a certain mechanism in us to function. The manufacturer wants us to function a certain way. So in order to do that, he had to put certain deposits in us to walk out the purpose for our life through his plan. And when we properly identify that, we fulfill purpose on purpose. And a lot of times, if we don't know, then we kind of try and find what that is. We're searching for it. We look at other people's gifts, and again, we lift those gifts up, and then the ones that we haven't identified or don't know, we minimize those. So let's jump in here. I think we got some people in the room. Welcome again. If you're just joining us, welcome. And you can share this to your page. As always, it's yours to share. And we're going to jump right in. So those of you just joining us, we're going to, we're going to look at Romans the 12th chapter. We're going to start at verse 6. And we're going to talk about the motivational gifts. I want to give you some information. Good to see you, Tyrone. Glad you're joining us tonight. But Romans 12. Romans 12 is interesting because as Paul was sharing in this passage, what he first started talking about is us renewing our mind. And I find that interesting. Before he gets to the gifts, the motivational gifts, he admonishes everyone to renew your mind, to not think like the world, but to renew your mind in accordance with God's word. Be not conformed to the world, being transformed by the renewing of your mind, which, if you continue to read, would suggest, in order for us to really understand the motivational gifts, that it's going to call for a renewed mind. It's going to call for us to think differently, operate differently, so that we can better understand the deposits he put in us. So I've given you enough time to find Romans 12, verse 6. And I'll just read verse 6 through 8. And it says, having gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, let us use them. If prophecy, let us prophesy in proportion of our faith. Or ministry, let us use our ministry. He who teaches, teaching. He who exhorts, exhortation. He who gives liberally. He who leads, with diligence. He who shows mercy, with cheerfulness. So in this passage right here in Romans 12, verse 6 to 8, Paul actually lists 7 motivational gifts. And I'm going to give them to you real quick. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to move this out of the way here so we can. So if you're taking notes, you might want to write this down. There are seven motivational gifts. All right. And here they are. They are prophecy, or another word for the prophecy is perceiver, right? Prophecy or perceiver. Serving. Some people, people are hardwired to serve. It's in them to serve. We'll talk about that. Teaching. Some people are born teachers. God hardwired them, programmed them for a purpose to be teachers. Exhortation. Some people are great exhorters, motivators. When you leave them, you pump, ready to go, because they have that gift in them to exhort, to encourage. Giving. That's the number one. So another one, giving. So we went through perceiver, prophecy or perceiver is one. Serving, that's number 2, if you're following this teaching here. Teaching, number 3. All right. Number 4, exhortation. Number 5, giving. That's a hardwired gift. There are people who are born givers. Number 6, organization, ruling, or an administrative gift. They're born leaders. That's a hardwired gift. And this last but not least, definitely not least, mercy. Mercy is a gift. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So the hardwired gifts, last teaching, we talked about the ministry gifts. We talked about the 5-fold ministry gifts that Jesus gave the church. And we're moving now to motivational gifts. These are God-given gifts that are hardwired, and every person is on the planet. Everybody falls into one of these 7 categories. Every person that's born has one of these gifts. And here's the thing. A lot of times you function in them and you don't even realize it. Some people are operating in these gifts and they're not aware that they have them. They're just doing it. It's not something you have to do. You automatically do it because you're hardwired that way. All right. So real quick, 1 Peter 4:10. We said everyone's born with gifts. 1 Peter 4:10 says, each of you should use whatever gift you've received to serve others. I want to point this out. The purpose of the gifts, when it's used in the right way, is to serve other people. And sometimes when we don't understand it, we flip that the other way and we use those gifts to serve us. But every deposit God has made is to serve others. So he tells us serve others as a faithful steward of God's grace in various forms. So the deposit that God's made, if you want to prosper in it, you want to serve on purpose. When you identify it, you look to serve other people. I have another passage for you to prove this. Matthew 20, verse 25 to 28. I won't read all of it. I'll just pick up verse 26, but I want to point this out because Jesus said it. We know if Jesus says something, it's important. All the words important. But if you were in your Bible, this is probably in red, right? So verse 26 says, "But this is not your calling. You will you will lead by a completely different model. The greatest one among you will live as one who's called to serve other people." So Jesus is saying, hey, if you want to be great, serve others, not yourself. He says, serve other people. For the greatest among you will serve others, because the greatest honor and authority is reserved for the one who has the heart of a servant. He said the greatest honor, the greatest authority is reserved for the people who have the heart of a servant. For even the Son of Man did not come expecting to be served, but to serve and give his life in exchange for the salvation of many. So Jesus understood. He said, I didn't come to be served. He came to serve others. He came to be our sacrifice. And when we properly understand the giftings that he's given us, the purpose of it is to serve other people, not serve ourselves. I said this earlier, no gift is minimal. There are no small gifts. Maybe for Christmas, right? We got small gifts for Christmas, but the gifts that God has given us, there aren't any small gifts. God made sure that every gift that he's given us has a purpose, has a plan. It's a part of his purpose and plan for our lives. And when we identify it, when we connect with it, when we function in it, it brings us to a place of blessing and prosperity. Although it's designed to serve other people, we get the benefits of the gift. We reap the benefits. We reap the benefits of the gifts that God has given us. And I remember when I was in the master's program, I had a professor to, pull me to the side. We were talking about this subject, talking about gifts. And he shared just this nugget that I'll share with you tonight. He said, you know what? He said, Andrew, when you are thinking about gifts and abilities, he said, don't spend time trying to maximize in the areas of weakness, because you might not get a great return out of that. So if you spend a lot of your time trying to sharpen areas where you're not strong, you could waste and exert a lot of energy and really only get a 50, 60, return on that. He said, maximize your strengths, discover what that is. And when you find it, work that bad boy, because that's where you're going to find the most progress. That's where you're going to find the most success. That gift will make room for you. So I encourage you tonight that if you're in an area, if you've discovered an area you're not strong in, don't spend a lot of time trying to strengthen. I'm not talking about weaknesses, that we can correct. I'm saying if this is not a gifting for you, and that, don't spend time trying to operate in a gift that's not yours. Identify what your gift is and work it. Okay, so our gift was built in us. God has given us all gifts. Psalms 139, 13 through 15 tells us that we were beautifully and wonderfully made. Design. We're designer originals. Made by God. You are a designer original. So again, you don't want to minimize your gift. Maybe your gift is not like other people, and I'll give you some information. If you wait till the end, now you have to wait till the end. Here's my carrot. You have to wait till the end. I'm going to give you a website that you can go to, and you can actually take a gift test for free, because you might be saying, well, I'm listening to you. I don't know what my gift is. Well, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you to find out what your gift is. There's a website you can go to, but we'll do that at the end. And you can go take the test. But let me say this. Please answer the questions honestly. Don't answer them in a way, or answer the questions to say, this is the gift I want. It doesn't work well that way. And answer them honestly, so you can properly identify the gifts that you have, that God has hardwired you with. And then it'll also have information about what that means, and how that can bless and help you. Okay. So our goal really tonight is to identify gifts, but we'll talk about a few of them. I'll give you a few of them as with the time we have, and what we don't finish, we'll pick up in our next sharing. The first one in the scripture, Romans 12, 6 and 8, it says gift of prophecy. Do you know that there are people who are hardwired with that gift? It's called perceiver of prophecy. For example, maybe your mother or your father, you have a family member, you bring someone to meet them, and they tell you something's wrong. Something's not right with that person. And at first you don't pay me any mind. You say, oh, this person's fine. I know them. I think they're great. Just met them online. Oh, wonderful person. But you bring them home to mama, and mama's telling you, can't put my finger on it, but something's not right. And you find out sooner or later that mama was right. And mama's always right. Well, maybe mama has a gift as a perceiver, because that gift, what it does sometimes, it gives you, you're wired and gives you ability to see things that other people can't see. You perceive things. You see things that other people can't see. And it's clear to people who are wired that way. And when they are filled with the Holy Spirit, that gift is alive, and they can look at people, situations, and they see things differently. And if you study the word, most of the prophets probably had that gift as a perceiver, or that gift of prophecy. People who have this gift, I'll give you a little characteristic about them. They see life in black and white. It's good or it's bad. It's up or it's down. It's right or it's left. There are no areas of gray. So it doesn't matter how you try to paint the picture for them. It doesn't matter how you try to paint that picture. When you put that picture in front of them, they're seeing black or white. They're telling you, I don't, it could be a picture, a wonderful autumn picture, right? But as they're seeing it, you got orange in there and the wonderful pumpkins and or Christmas colors, and they're saying, no, it's black or it's white. And here's the thing, they're wired that way. So it doesn't matter what extreme you go to try to paint the picture another way. They are hardwired to see life that way. They see life as good or as bad. There's usually no gray areas. It's kind of interesting when you come in contact with those type of people, because sometimes they can seem somewhat negative, but it's not that they're negative. It's just that gift has them wired a certain way. They're usually very bold. They're outspoken. They speak their mind. They're very clear in their intent. When they declare something from God, what they are saying, sometimes it hurts the feelings of other people, and it's not intentional. Sorry, good to see you. It's not intentional. They're not trying to hurt people's feelings on purpose. It's just the way they're wired. And guess what? It's not going to change because you can't change that hard wiring. Of course, they can work in showing a little mercy, a little more. They can work in those areas, but that's a gift that they have. So we talked about prophecy or perceiver. Okay. The second one is server. So these are people, it's a God-given ability to be aware of other people's needs and to meet those needs. These are helpers. These are people who are hardwired to help other people. I mean, it's in them. They breathe it. They live it. This is what they live for. They will find people who are in need, and they will find a way to help and serve. And it's like a shot of caffeine for them. They search for it. They can, and you wonder why when you come in contact with these people, like how do you always come across people who are in need, and you find a way to serve and help. When it comes to projects of community functions, church functions, these are the people, they serve in a way that makes you, sometimes, I'll be honest with you, make you feel bad. Because you look and go, wow, man, they are so dedicated. They just have that heart, and you can try, and you try and serve best you can, but you will not outserve them. I still encourage you to serve, but they are hardwired like that to serve people. You find that I think in a story in the Bible with Mary and Martha in Luke 10:38-42. Martha got a little upset with Mary because Mary was ministering to Jesus. Jesus was soon to be crucified, and she found that need to minister to him. And Martha got upset and said, Jesus, you see me around here doing all this work. I'm just paraphrasing, y'all. You see me around here working, and Mary's not helping me out. And Jesus responded to her. He said, you're worried about a lot of stuff, but I'm not going to take this from her. This is a gift. She's wired this way. And it doesn't matter how much work you're doing, that gift in her is connected to the need in me. So she functioned in that gift. You'll see this in different people. Once you understand how this works, you'll see that as you read the Bible, you'll see different giftings in people, or gifts God has put in people, how He's wired them, and you'll also see that in yourself. Next one is teacher. There are some people who are wired to teach. I mean, God programmed them that way. It's a unique God-given ability to discover and communicate God's truth in a way that others can understand and grow. Because you can kind of guess, maybe in some way, what one of my gifts are. And let me say this: you can have more than one. I didn't say that earlier, but you can have more than one of these gifts. But I'll be transparent, as you probably realize. One of my gifts is teaching. I love it. I enjoy research, information. I love digging it out, uncovering truth and sharing. I drive my kids crazy because they say, "Dad, you're always trying to teach a lesson and we don't always want to hear it. Can you just be quiet?" But for me, it's enjoyable. I love going to museums and learning about history, Bible museums, different things, just digging information out to share. As you can tell, I can actually be on this live for a couple of hours. I know you won't hang out with me, but I can share information for a long time tonight, and I enjoy doing it. And here's the thing: I'm wired for it. I get up in the morning, I'm like, hey, let me find some truth, some information. Let me see what I can share. And sometimes, I run into people in the community, and they probably think, oh my goodness, man, this guy, I didn't ask him all that information. But my point is that that's the way people are wired. They live for it. It's research is not something that's boring to them. They love doing it. But they uncover truths. They help people to discover and understand this. I think sometimes you find this in doctors who do research. Some people turn that into a career. This is what they do. They go research information, and they don't go into medicine to so much care for, everyday people as far as going to a doctor's office, but they do research. They uncover information about disease, and they share that. Guess what? They don't necessarily have to be believers to do it, to be operating in this gift. They're wired that way to do it, and they turn it into a career. Hopefully this information is being beneficial for you. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Exhorter. Exhorter is another gift that you can discover. It is the gift to encourage and strengthen people. It's people who have this gift to encourage and strengthen people. They find people who are down and out. And when you leave them, oh man, you're ready to run a mile, 2 miles. You haven't ran a mile in years, but when you leave their presence, you're so pumped and energized. Why? Because they're wired that way. They see the glass not half empty, half full, but maybe they see it full altogether, right? But they find a way to help you discover the brighter side of life. So it doesn't matter what problem you bring to them. They find a way to help get you motivated, get you pumped, get you ready. I think most motivational speakers probably have this wired gift as an exhorter, because people come to hear them to get energized and to go out and tackle life, right? They give you principles. They give you steps that you can function and operate in for life. So that is a hard wired gift that they have to exhort and encourage people. There's some speakers you'll find, and I'll tell you this, I think most preachers probably in some way have this gift, because you almost have to have it to encourage people who are coming to church to hear a word from God and to be encouraged. So something that's in you that you're wired to kind of help other people. Let's go to givers. The next one is givers. There are people who are just wired to give. I mean, they give unselfishly. I mean, they give in a way that you grab your purse and your wallet, and you, when it comes to money, you're like, man, how do they just have this heart to give? And the word tells us that God gives seed to the sower. I believe that's in 1 Corinthians. God gives seed to the sower. So if someone's operating in this, if someone is hardwired as a giver, usually you find that they have money. And here's the thing: God makes sure they have money because He knows that they're going to give. And He wired them that way. He wired them to be givers, not just givers of money, but they're givers of time. And you wonder how many hours do they have in a day? I only get 24. I think they get 36, 48. I'm trying to figure out how they're able to give so much of themselves in time in the community, in church, and work. They're just givers. They just have this energy. They're wired in a way to just give, and they give to the point of almost exhaustion until they're totally wiped out. And they take a quick nap and they're up again and they're giving again. Well, again, that's a hard wired gift. You find, people who own businesses, and I think it's, I forgot the term you use for it, but people who own businesses, they travel the world and they give. Philanthropy, I think is the word. I'm not pronouncing it right, but I think that's the word I'm looking for. But they travel the world and they give to organization groups all around the world. So givers, that is a gift that we have. And guess what? My time is up, y'all. But I want to come back and share the rest because we gotten through quite a few. We gotten through 5 of them, so there's only 2 more left. But I'll go back over them real quick, and then I'll give you the website. So you stuck with me throughout this time here, so I'll make sure I give you that information. So we talked about perceiver, prophecy, wired gift. We talked about a server, those who are hardwired to serve other people. Teacher, people who are wired to teach and share information, researchers. Exhorters, those are the motivational speakers, people who are meant to encourage other people. You get energy from them. And then you have givers, right? People who just have this gift to give, this unimaginable, but they have this special gift to give other people. So when we come back next time, we're going to talk about the gift of administration, real important, and mercy. So we'll deal with the last 2 gifts. But like I said, what I want you to do is I'm going to give you this website because what I want you to do is to go and take this test. Again, it is free. Here's the site, is gifttest.org. You can go to that website. If you're saying, well, I don't know what gift I have. I've never known. I don't know what motivational gift I have. What am I wired with? Here's how you find out. You go to that website. We'll have some questions that you answer. Actually, if you go down to the bottom of the page, you will see questions that you can answer. And please do this. Answer it truthfully. I know we're Christians. We got to make sure we tell the truth. Don't answer them to say this is the gift I want to have. Like I want to be a giver. So I want to answer this like I am. That it doesn't work. You're going to get the wrong answer if you do it that way. Answer truthfully where you are with your heart, and what you'll discover at the end, it will give you either 1 or 2. You could be strong in 3 areas. You could be strong in 2 areas, but it will tell you what motivational gift you have, and then it will give you information. Some of what I share with you tonight, it'll give you information about that gift. And when you discover that, then you can study on your own. You can find out, okay, this is what God wired me with. Why? God, why? And you can ask questions in prayer. God, why did you give me this gift? And I promise you what'll happen is he'll start to whisper purpose to you. He'll tell you, I gave you this gift so that you can do. And once you discover what that is, get organized, get ready, put it to work so that you can fulfill the purpose that God has for you in life. Again, we'll come back. We won't come back next week because I'll be traveling next week. So we won't come back next week, but we'll come back the week after this. We'll finish this conversation. But as always, thank you for taking time to join us tonight. Take the test. Take this information. If you think it's beneficial, it's been a blessing to you, feel free to share it on your page. Tag some people. Say, hey, man, if you've been wondering what gift you have, I got a way that we can help discover that for you. And we'll come back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We'll come back in 2 weeks, and we'll finish this up. And we'll make sure that we help you discover that gift so you can fulfill your purpose. Right. Be blessed. Have a blessed week. And we will see you again soon. And again, this information is yours. Feel free to share it. Love you. See you again soon.